This is your home window of your CRM. When I teach the CRM, I hit on three different things that are extremely important. They're your contacts, the list that they go in, and the communication to the list. Those are the three primary things about the CRM. If you can get to a point where you're not overwhelmed by that concept, you will thrive using the CRM. Okay? Don't overthink it. Okay. The order that I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with your list. And the lists are how you know your contacts. Okay. It could be a zip code. It could be a church group. It could be a fishing club. It could be a tennis group. Whatever you know your contacts and how you're going to market them, that's what your list is. So you can make them for the long term, or you can always just remove and delete them. So just kind of think of it that way. All right. To make your first list, you're going to come up to marketing and you're going to go to lists. Now I'm going to show two examples that I recommend every agent to do because it helps long term. Okay. You'll notice that there's all these lists that have come up on your account. These are corporate lists. These are stuff that either corporate made or maybe a broker made. But what matters to you, let me make this a little bit smaller. What matters to you is that if you hit this drop down, you can see only your lists. Okay. So as you can tell, currently I have 3 lists in here that I've created, and it's for a class that I'm going to teach in the first week of March. I recommend if you get into the CRM and embrace it, I teach a class about flow, about treating your contacts cold, warm, and hot, and the different ways that you should communicate them email marketing wise. It has, let me see if I still have this tab open. This class currently has 500 views. And it hasn't been that long ago. So the class was really good. Got a lot of feedback, got a lot of people trying out drip campaigns. It might be something you want to consider checking out. I really enjoyed teaching it. But I have 3 lists in here, but I'm going to go over creating a brand new list. Under marketing, lists. On the far right where there's an orange button, I'm going to hit create list. All right. One of the 2 things I'm going to recommend for you as an agent is you're going to create a test list. So I'm creating Drew test. So yours would be Francie test. It would be Jeff test. It would be one list that's just going to have you in it. And the reason why is to get comfortable using the CRM, you should test what you communicate. Get used to the action of sending a campaign to yourself and checking it off. Once you do that, the CRM's a breeze. That's what it becomes. So now that I've named my list, I'm going to hit add people to list, the green button at the top left or top right or the center bottom. And that is all you have to do to create a list. So you can make them very quickly. Okay, trial and error, people. Next, I'm going to go make another list. Back to all list over here on the top left. And you'll see Drew test is now one of my list. It's not scary. This is the easiest thing you can do. Hit the orange button, create list. Now that I've created a test list, the next item I would recommend is a database list.
Yes.
You'll hear your brokers talk about it all the time. Database, sphere of influence, your contact pool. It's all of them. And the cool thing about what I'm teaching today is holidays aren't restricted to anything. It's for everybody. It's a holiday. So this would be a great example for you to try this out. So I'm creating Drew database. I'm clicking the green button up here at the top right or at the bottom center that says add people to list. And that is a new list. Okay. 1 out of 3 people, I've just wiped out 1. Okay. Do I have any questions about creating a list? Let me look at my people. People are hiding. They're not showing their webcams. There's cheating. I don't have a choice. All right. We've created a list. Think about how you're going to use that. If you have If you're dividing it up by subdivisions because you have directories, home directories for, like, for instance, I live over here in Marietta, Lee's Crossing, Carriage Oaks. If I had directories for those neighborhoods, I would put them into list and communicate a certain way to them. Something to think about. What I teach in my next class is I teach about how you know them. Whether they're a cold person you met on the street, whether it's somebody you've known for years, you're going to communicate differently. So just keep that in the back of the mind. People can be added to multiple lists. Okay. If you have a person on 2 lists and you send an email, a holiday card to both lists, they will receive 1 communication. Our system does not like duplications. That's something to remember. When someone unsubscribes, they unsubscribe, which keeps you out of trouble. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main screen of the CRM because we need to cover the next item, which is your contacts. Okay. To add a contact to the CRM, up at the top left under leads, you are going to contacts. You are not going to leads. You are going to contacts. Let me remind people, contacts. Leads are completely different. Leads have come to your website because they were interested in something. They wanted to be a saved search. They wanted to receive a market insight. Contacts are your way of communicating via email marketing. Okay, so contacts. All right, let's bring this up. All right, so I've always felt the easiest way to explain a contact is to show an example. I have added myself. I have a first name, a last name, and an email address. That creates a contact. Now, something that our company never really taught for God knows how long is that you can filter your contacts. The fields category, company, and title are filters. Okay, the reason why this is so important, if I only want people who live in West Cobb, I'm going to type in West Cobb here, press enter, and now the 2 people who live in West Cobb are coming up. So taking advantage of your filters is very important. And I'll show you where this is. You can also remove filters right here. I'm going to just click them off, and that ends the filter. Okay, so doing some pre-items when you're adding contacts will help you long term. If you're adding a group of people that you met at Cobb Galleria at a realtor conference, make sure you use these categories to explain who they are. These are agents in Smyrna, met them at conference, Cobb Galleria, stuff like that. Use it so you can find them for other reasons.
Drew, can I ask a quick question?
Of course. Hey.
When you add a person to your database and you've already got your Krista's database created, do you have to go back and add that person to that list?
That's a great question. A lot of people think that just because you added a new contact, you have to find that one person. Well, for a database, that's the best thing because all you would do is just re-add the whole group back into your database.
Got it.
There's no duplication. So don't overthink that part. Just if you've added 7 people to your contacts, just re-add everybody back into the database.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you. Great question. All right. So there is 2 different ways to add contacts to your CRM. You can add them individually, or you can add them as a batch. Okay. If you only do one individual contact at a time, that is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that because you're doing the hard part. You're getting contacts into your CRM. So I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to go to add contact at the top right. And I am going to add myself as a real estate agent in Savannah. So H&R trainer, first name, last name. Here are the 3 categories I was talking about for filters: job title, company, and category. Okay. Job title, I am an agent. Company, I work at Seabolt Real Estate, which is one of our franchise offices. And the category is I live in Savannah. Now, if you have extra ones that you want to incorporate, so for instance, not only do I live in Savannah, but I also live near Thunderbolt. I'll put comma, Thunderbolt. Now I have 2 different ways of filtering that category. Pretty nice, right? think of different ways of how you're going to use this to add people. If you're going to create lists that are based on agents, that is a very important thing to have in here. If you're focusing on an area, that's very important. If they're a vendor, if you're farming vendors, to keep yourself in front of them because you're the real estate specialist, put vendor in this. Okay. The next thing is I'm going to scroll down a little bit further and I'm going to put my email address in, which is hnr.trainer@harrynorman. Okay. Question I always get, it says, is primary. The truth is that's if you have multiple email addresses. You're allowed to add another email address. So if you have a personal and a work, you're choosing which one you're going to be communicating to. I think I just got a quick chat question. Oh, bye, Jill. All right. So like I said, first name, last name, email address. That's what creates a contact. Adding these filters right here just benefits you long-term. Okay. And I'm going to hit create contact. Now, if your contact's in here and the email address has been used, it will not allow you to add the contact because it doesn't like duplicates. So remember that. If you're adding people without email addresses, you'll have to come back individually to add the email address. So my words of advice would be not to add a contact without an email address. It becomes a lot more work. Keep them on your spreadsheet when you do get the email address and upload the spreadsheet, which I'm about to cover. Okay, because if you load a whole bunch of contacts and they don't have email addresses, you have to find them individually and add that, and it can be a little overwhelming. I learned from experience. So that is one contact. Okay, the other option that you have is loading an Excel spreadsheet into the CRM. Okay, at the top right where it says actions and there's a drop down, it says import from CSV, which CSV is a comma separated values Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to go to this. All right. On this page, it has two different items. One is that it's allowing you to download a spreadsheet. It's providing you with the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So I'm just going to hit download. When you download it, the Excel spreadsheet will load to your computer. I'm going to go ahead and move it to my desktop so I can show y'all what this looks like. Perfect. Right. Let me stop share. Oops, I got a quick question too in the process. Hi, Drew, I'm going to have to log off. Oops, sorry. Not a problem. I understand, Brad. Check it out. I'll load it either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop share real quick, but I'm going to switch it over to my Excel spreadsheet to show you. Perfect. All right, can everybody see my Excel spreadsheet? Perfect. So this Excel spreadsheet is exactly what the CRM wants. I'm going to reiterate that. This Excel spreadsheet is exactly what the CRM wants, to a detailed, like too detailed. So first I am going to delete the instructions. See how it says? These are instructions for you. I'm just going to delete it. Okay. So now all I have is an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Agents who use this CRM religiously, they keep this Excel spreadsheet saved on their desktop and they add people as they go.
Let me see.
Because remember, there's no duplicating. If you added 6 more contacts to the Excel spreadsheet.
What are these?
Oh, I gotta mute. There you go. So for instance, if you save this on your desktop and you kind of add people as you go, you can just re-upload the same spreadsheet. All right. So for this Excel spreadsheet, you need name, first name. So I'm going to use my mother as an example. Susan. Last name is Burr. Her email address is going to be susan.burr@Gulfstream. All right. And also, I can use my filters at this point as well. My job title, company, and category. Okay, so my mother works for General Dynamics. Job title, I'm gonna just put in marketing. And category, I can put in, she is also in Savannah. One contact. Okay, I'm not changing any of the columns. I'm not changing the name of the file. I'm not doing any of that because the CRM likes this spreadsheet. So all I'm going to do is just hit save and close it out. Okay, I'm going to hop back to my H&R real quick. Okay, so what I did was I downloaded the Excel spreadsheet. I opened it up. I added my contact to it. So now I have the next step. Upload your CSV import file, the same one I had saved on my desktop. So I'm going to hit choose file. And there it is again, my contact upload. I'm going to select it, hit open. And lastly, I'm going to put in my email address so that I receive a confirmation when my contacts have loaded into my CRM. Now remember, if you're loading like 300 or 400 contacts, it might take a little bit longer to receive that confirmation email. Just think of it that way. And now I'm going to click import contacts. Sorry, I had a few people outside of my door. All right, so now that I've uploaded the Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to refresh my window. And you'll see now my mother's been added to my contacts right here. And I probably have already received the email confirming that she's been added. Now, if you're using a Mac and you're using numbers, you might run into some problems with this. Okay, so something to consider. Yep, I just received the email. There it is. So it's confirmed my contact has been added to my CRM. What I would recommend is if you can get a hold of Excel, use Excel. It helps a lot for the CSV. If you can't get a hold of it, just know that in your office, in the workrooms, there are Excel programs on those computers. So just think of it like that. Numbers, it doesn't match up the columns and the criteria. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Do I have any questions about adding one contact or adding an Excel spreadsheet? Scroll through some headshots. I think everybody's got it. Hey, Krista.
One real quick question.
Of course.
Can you, when you're working with that CSV file,
Yes.
is it okay to expand the size of each of the windows?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, expanding your column size does not hurt anything because you're really not changing what data is available. So yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'm with you. I'm a little OCD. I like to see everything. I've got you. Yes. Just don't go removing columns or anything because what it's going to do is it's going to be like, hey, where's that item? That's what I'm expecting to see. So just something to think about. All right. We'll check some headshots again. You got a quick question, Jeff? What you got?
I do. So I have, I've separated all the contacts and I have a Mac and I've separated all of my contacts that I want to keep in contact with. Is there a way to automate this process so I don't type everything in, or do you literally just have to take those and type them in one at a time? So can I export the contacts into something that would be recognizable by the CRM?
So where do you have your contacts again?
So
In numbers?
literally in my contacts, my contacts, it's called contacts. So where all my contacts are stored.
Oh,
my
okay.
Address book, basically.
You're in an address book. Interesting.
And so I could export them, but I don't know if it would work correctly.
Well, I mean, the worst case scenario, export your contacts, see how they come to you. And then what you can do is you can open up the spreadsheet and paste them into it.
Okay.
Try that, or you can check with me after the class and I can see if I can walk you through a better idea.
Okay.
Just because I've never worked with that particular program. I mean, is it like iMail contacts?
Yes.
Interesting. You know, somebody who was working on that, you're in town, right?
I am, yes.
Check with Avery.
Oh, was she working on that?
He's done something very similar. Yes. See if
Okay.
try to export it first, but then get some advice from Avery because I believe she was trying to do the exact same thing. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
No, no problem. Seriously. Yeah. I don't want you to have to work harder than you have to. I mean, this system's supposed to make life easier. So getting contacts in, ugh, I know. All right. So recap. We have list. We have contacts, which we've loaded two different ways, one individually and one as a batched amount of contacts in Excel spreadsheet. So our goal now is we need to get our contacts into those lists that we've created, okay? And I'm going to show you a few different things about this. First, selecting a contact. There's a checkbox next to all the names on your contacts. This is selecting one contact, okay? If you hit this box above it, it selects the 20 contacts that is on this page. Okay. If I want all of my contacts, I'm going to click on Apply Action to all pages of results. And now I have selected every contact that I have. Okay. So it's 1, 20, or all. Okay. The reason why this is important to know is if you use your filter. So for instance, if I filtered down to West Cobb and say I have 50 contacts that are from West Cobb, I can select the apply action to all pages after I've used my filter and put all of my West Cobb people into a list. That's why the filters are so important. So just think of that in this moment. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add all of these contacts to my database list that we created. So I'm going to hit the drop down that was created when I select a contact, and you'll see that add to list shows up. You can also remove from list, you can export, but we're going to focus on add to list. Okay, when you select add to list, you'll notice that there's a drop down that says select a list. These are the contact lists that you have available to you, including the ones you've created. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select Drew's database list. And I'm going to hit update. And it confirms, are you sure you want to add 5 contacts to a marketing list called Drew Database? I will say, okay. So now I have everybody in one spot. This action can be done anytime. There's no duplication. So if you need to refresh your database list, it's something you can easily do. The next action is I want to add myself to my test list because I want to test out my communications. So I'm going to select the checkbox next to my name. I'm going to hit add to list. And this time I'm going to select Drew's test and hit update. And now I've been added to my test list. So 2 wins from this. I put my contacts all in one spot for when I want to send a holiday card. I've added myself to a list so I can test my communications when I want to get things sent out. Okay. Other really cool things to know is corporate has lists that you can take advantage of as well. They have a company newsletter, which goes out monthly the first week of each month. They also have a luxury company newsletter that goes out quarterly on the second week of that month. And you'll see it in sales meeting when it's about to come out. So say I want to go ahead and add all my contacts to the company newsletter. I would select all that's on this page, the 20, apply action to all pages of results, hit add to list, and then I'm going to select one of the company list instead of one of mine. So this time I'm just going to scroll a little bit, see where it says parent company, and I'm going to select company newsletter instead. Now, when you do this, these individuals will receive the company newsletter until they unsubscribe or you remove them. To me, it's one of the best touches you can do as an agent to stay in front of your contacts monthly. So think of it that way. You want to stay in front of your contacts for when that moment happens and something changes and they need to sell or buy. That's what email marketing is all about. I'm a huge advocate of it because I do freelance myself after hours, and I send out an email every once in a while when my board opens up. And this is how I get more business. It should be the same for a real estate agent. All right, so that's one touch per month covered.
One quick question.
Sure, of course.
In Agent Accelerate, I believe they said that if I subscribe somebody this way, that the newsletter is automatically branded to me.
That's correct.
That
Well,
is
I know because I coded it, so yes. I created this 3 years ago, so yes.
great.
So the way I coded it was when the email hits or when it's launched out, the very top part of it has your headshot and your contact information, which is pulled from my H&R profile.
Okay.
I didn't want anybody to ever question, oh, it's going to have Harry. No, it's you. It's very much you.
That's great.
And the same situation is for all the holiday cards that we're going over. The designs pull your contact information. I know that's a normal question I get all the time. So your contact information will be there. All right, so I'm going to hit update. Now all my contacts have been added to the company newsletter. So take advantage of this. If you work a luxury market, the luxury company newsletter goes out quarterly and it's very nice. The head of marketing, Luke, and Jenny review it. It's a wonderful touch system, and it's all about Atlanta. Do I have any questions about adding contacts to list and what you should do? Okay. Cool. Well, all right. So the next thing I'm going to cover is how to send out the Valentine's Day card, okay? This action can be done for every holiday, and you can schedule them out as far as you'd like. Let me remind people this. I love y'all coming to my classes for these, but you can schedule these as far as you'd like, so you don't have to touch them anymore. Think of it that way, okay? Marketing. We're going to start a campaign. All right. So in our system, you have two different options to send out an email in the CRM. I'm at marketing campaigns. You can send it as a single email, or you can send it as a drip campaign. Okay. Drip campaigns are pretty easy to explain. They're a series of emails that are spaced by time. Okay. 1 month, 2 months out, 3 months out. That is what a drip campaign is. And that's what I'm teaching the first week of March. So keep that in your mind. Okay. Single emails, you can schedule the exact day and the exact time when it's going out. That's the huge advantage. If I'm starting at the beginning of the year like we are now, I can literally pull out my Harry Norman calendar, look at all the holidays, and schedule out all of the holidays because there's designs for all of them. Some even have up to 10 or 12 designs. You don't have to overthink it, and it just goes. All right, so let's do it. I'm going to create a single email campaign. I'm clicking on create single email. The first thing you do is you're going to name your campaign. Now, this is for you to see. It's not for your contacts. So in this scenario, I'm going to put in Happy Valentine's. I'm going to put 2021.
Drew, I
Okay.
have a quick question.
Absolutely.
So if you update your list after you've already scheduled the drip or whatever, will it?
Oh, I love that question. That is great. Yes, you can schedule out a campaign as far as you want, but it doesn't, like, it recognizes the moment. So if I added 10 people and I've already scheduled this out, everybody's going to get it when that launch happens.
Okay.
So that's why this is so important. If you schedule out for the full year and you keep adding people to this list, the more people will receive it up to that day. So that's why there's no negatives to it. I mean, like I said, I love teaching this class, but it's all wins for y'all. Great question. Thank you. So I've named it. I'm going to click next. And you can tell by the top here, I'm literally going step by step to send out my email. I'm going to set up email. I'm going to configure email. I'm going to choose the recipients, and then I'm going to review before I activate. That's what it's all about. So in this window, the email subject, this is what your contacts will see when they receive the email. Okay. Words of advice. Putting a personal touch on these kind of emails lead to more opens. So happy Valentine's Day from the Burrs. I added a personal touch, which will lead to more open when this goes out. Okay. I'm also going to schedule this out. So you can tell the contacts agent information. It says email creator. You do not have to change that because you are the agent sending this. So leave that be. Next, you have 3 different options for scheduling. When you hit the drop down, you see that it says keep as draft, send immediately, or schedule date and time. Okay. If you want to test out your email design, you send immediately. And what it will do is it will send you the email with your contact information for you to review. Okay. But since I already know what I'm doing, I'm going to schedule date and time. And I'm going to use the designs that Harry Norman has in here. So schedule date and time, which creates another window. This is a calendar. Okay. And I believe Valentine's Day is Sunday, correct? The 14th? 14th. Okay. I should know that, right? 14th. And also since it's, well, you know, it's on a Sunday, that's unusual. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to choose February 12th so that I get more opens. Okay. Because the weekend, people are pretty much checked out for the most part. And your contacts aren't real estate agents who work 24/7. So just a thought on that. So I'm going to choose Friday, the 12th, before Valentine's Day. And I'm going to choose a time, select time right here at the bottom. And let's see if I can move my Zoom little window's in the way. So prize times are 8, 12, and 4 to 5. Those are your 3 prime times. Since it's a holiday, I personally am going to choose 8 a.m. because I want a strong open rate. So I'm going to set this for 8 a.m. And I'm going to switch this over to AM. And when you selected your time, you can click off. So now you can see I have it scheduled for the 12th at 8 a.m. to send out my email.
What are those prime times again?
8, 12, and they say 5, but I always say 4 personally. The reason why is you're catching them in the morning when they're fresh into work. You're hitting them at 12 o'clock because it's normally lunchtime and they're usually scrolling through. And also in the afternoon, the reason why I say 4 to 5, it depends on whether your contact is in carpool lines or not. Something to think about. Just depends on what demographic you're in. So normally they say 5. All right, so I've got it all filled in here. I've set my time for the 12th at 8. I'm going to hit next. Okay. If there is one instruction that frustrates me the most is you have to choose existing email content. These are the Harry Norman designs right here. All right, so when you click on this, you'll see this switch over to all the new templates that corporate has created, including the markets, the luxury market updates, which is something you can schedule out as well. All right. So since I'm sending out a Valentine's Day card, I'm going to type in on my search line, Valentine's. That's the quickest way to get the designs to come up. I'm just going to put in Valentine. Okay. Search line, typed in Valentine. If you're searching St. Patrick's Day, put in Patrick. If you're looking up Christmas, put in Christmas. New Year's, new. I mean, you'll see all these different designs. You can tell right here, there's a lot of design. All right. So I'm going to choose one of these. Let me mute that real quick, sorry. All right. All right, so I just selected the design I wanted, okay? And there's numerous ones. Next, I have to choose who I'm sending this to. You'll see these are my list, right? Okay, I'm just going to choose test, but in y'all's scenario, you probably send it to your database. If you're sending it immediately, you would select your test. Okay, after that, you hit next. All right, so the very last window is your checkpoint on your communication. I am naming this Happy Valentine's Day 2021. I am sending it to Drew's test right here. It's going to say in the subject line, Happy Valentine's Day from the Burrs. It's coming from me. It's going out on the 12th at 8 o'clock a.m. And all I have to do is click activate. And that now this email has gone into the queue to go out. The actions I just did, you can do for anything. The market reports, if there's one that you like, you would select that market report when you're sending it out. Holidays are easy wins. If you miss the most recent newsletter, that design is in here for you to select. It's under the category. You type in newsletter, you'll see the most recent newsletters, or you go to the category side. It's very simplified. If you want to test how things work, run a single email campaign and just send it to your test so you get it and you send it immediately. Trial and error is what's going to make you very comfortable with the CRM. It helps a ton. All right. Do I have any questions?
Hey, Drew, I do have a question. So if I'm setting this up as a test to myself and then I test it, everything looks good, can I go back in? It looks like I'd be able to edit the campaign that you just submitted and send it to my entire list that I want to send it to. Is that correct? Or do I have to start all over?
Personally, I would just tell to run the campaign again. That's all. And this time select the database. I think if you edit it, I'm not sure if it would launch a second time. That's the question that I'm thinking in my head. So I would checkpoint it, say, yep, that looks good. Run the database. I mean, run a single email campaign again, but this time select database.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. It's a great question. I think if you edit it, it might work. It might work, but I don't want you to test it on yourself and be wrong.
I'm with you.
All right. Do I have any more questions? I'm going to go into a quick.
Hey, Drew, I have a question.
Bring it.
When I go to that to send and I go to list, there's nothing that pops up on my thing, on my drop down.
So you haven't.
Like it doesn't say Jen's database, even though I have over 100 and something contacts in there.
Interesting. Go into marketing and list and make sure your list is there. If you can get to it, can you get to it?
When I get to it, it has, it just has weird stuff. Like it has Becca and Bembry. It has New Generic, Metro Atlanta.
No. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on this drop down that says company and set it for you. So only your list show up.
Where's that? Sorry.
No, it's okay. Let me remove my filter real quick. I'll show it to you. So I'm under marketing lists and see where it says company right here. I hit the drop down and selected my name.
I'm not seeing your screen. Hold on.
Oh.
All right. Now hold on. Now where is company?
Okay.
Mine just says.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to hit the drop down. I'm going to select my name so that the only lists that show up are mine.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Do you see your list?
I see. I hit that. And now there's nothing there.
That means you don't have a list in the system right now.
So what happened to all the stuff that I saved? I did it wrong.
You might have done it wrong. Yes. So at this point, just go up to the orange button at the top right, create list, create database, and just re-add your contacts in.
Okay.
And then try to go through the campaign process again. You'll see it. I promise. I wonder where you could have put
I wonder what I added it to then. Somebody has all my contacts.
The fear of the unknown now.
Thanks, Drew.
No problem. If you want to check back with me, I mean, you can always get a hold of me, of course.
Okay, I might have to do that.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
All right, so the next thing I'm going to cover is editing an existing design. Okay. Some will do this, some won't. Some will just prefer to use the Harry Norman designs, which I totally understand. It saves time. It's more about the moment. So, oh, I got a quick chat question. Oh, yeah, no problem. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go to marketing and I'm going to go to email content. Come on. Like I said, some of y'all will use this, some of y'all won't. You know, my favorite design to use when I make something new is a design I made back in 2017, just because it's just simplified. So I'm just going to type in 2017. It's a Christmas card. Yeah, here it is right here. H&R Christmas, Merry Christmas 2017. It's a very simple design. Now you can do this with any of these, honestly. So let me minimize this real quick. I have a quick question when I log in. Oh, so Jeff, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. My Turner Office is having issues with logging in. Log directly into your agent website. So it will be Jeff, is it Medinger?
Right.
Web.harrynorman.com. Log directly into it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Scott and IT are fixing that. It's just, we had something happen in December, so they're fixing it.
Cool. Got it. Thank you.
Not a problem, seriously. All right, so what the concept here is, I went into marketing, I went to email content, and I found a design I wanted to work with. The H&R Merry Christmas 2017 is just a template I've used forever. You can do this with any of these. But when you come over here on the right side, you'll see what says this will clone the content of the template. Okay, I'm making a copy of it. Now, if I bring it over to window view, so right now they're in line view, window view, you'll see the design I'm talking about. See window up here, the top left? Line view, window view, so I can see the designs. Okay, I want to make a copy of this because I want to make it something of my own. That's all. So I'm going to hit clone. Don't let this overwhelm you all. Please, it's not that bad. All right, so here's the design. Nothing crazy, okay? It has the information here at the top that's going to put your agent information into play. So I like that. I want to keep that. At the bottom, it's also going to populate my Harry Norman office information, okay? So the only thing that's really wrong is this picture right here. I don't really want this. I want it to be a Valentine's Day card, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this design. And to make it easy for me to find, I'm going to name it Drew Valentine's Day 2021. Just so I can find it easier. Name it whatever you'd like, but just make it easy for you to find. I've learned putting in my name makes it very easy. And now I'm going to copy this down and paste it here for now. It's not going to automatically put that in the subject, I promise. All right, back to the design. I don't want this to be a Christmas card. So I'm going to select it by clicking once, and I'm going to hit delete. See? So I've left a space holder there, right here in the middle. My marketing coordinator made me an 800 by 800 design for me for Valentine's Day here at West Cobb. Something all the marketing coordinators at Harry Norman do. We made holiday cards. It's not unusual. So I'm going to go grab it. I have it saved on my desktop right now to use. So there's a button right here that says image. I'm going to click on the image, and then I'm going to browse server to go get the image. Okay, you're going to see all the designs that I've worked with on past classes. It's like a gallery of images. I'm going to go ahead and upload the picture that's sitting on my desktop. There it is. It's a very red rose. Okay, I'm going to hit open. And now you'll see my design is being uploaded into my CRM. I'm going to select it. Okay. And like I said, beginning, it's an 800 by 800. So I'm just going to make sure the width is 800. And I'm going to hit center. Now, if everything goes right, it's going to be placed right in the middle, and I'm going to have a brand new email. So I'm going to say, okay. And there it is. Now I have a new design to send out in the CRM. Okay. So to recap, I went to marketing. I went to email content. I found a design. The 2017 Merry Christmas card I've used a million times because it's simple. It has the elements that I want. I brought it up by cloning it. I made a copy of it. I came to the design. I selected the Christmas image that I didn't want, and I just deleted it, which left me that one space for me to add a new image. I went to the image button right here, and I browsed server and I uploaded the picture that I owned. Then I placed it and I set the width to 800. Okay, 800, most of the designs in the Harry Norman CRM are 800 pixels wide, just so y'all know. It's a great width for most phones and mobile devices, so that's the reason why we use it. And then I hit OK, and the picture was added to my design to be used. So now, when I start a single email campaign, this will be one of my options. And all I have to do is search the name Drew, and it will be there. Not everybody's going to do this, I know, but I want to show you the extent of what it can be. If you have your marketing create you an agent announcement card, you can do this exact same option and drop your announcement right into the email and have a template for yourself. I teach this further in the flow class where I create 4 separate emails introducing myself and then showing 3 different tools that I have here at Harry Norman to help my client. So just things to think about. The CRM has a lot of capabilities. Don't be afraid to try things and test things. It is really fun when you see it launch. I'm going to save email content. And now this template is available for me to use. Not too bad. I see a few people nodding, see? And you know, if you ever run into a situation where something doesn't work, or if you run into a problem with it, just email or call me and just say, hey, Drew, I tried it, because that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that y'all tried it. That way we can go somewhere from here. I can say, okay, yeah, you did a great job. Remove this space. It's stopping it from looking right. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, so this is the nutshell of the CRM. It's not a bad program. Get into it, have some fun, send out your holiday cards, put your contacts on the newsletter. And yeah, I'm here if you need me, of course. And to be honest, the 2 of y'all, actually, a few people in this call are going to be on when I'm teaching this next Thursday too, so y'all know. New agents, I see. Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the tech tools class I'm teaching, so I just have to teach it so much faster because of the whole agent accelerate part. Normally this takes roughly about an hour. I think I have to teach it in like 30 minutes. So y'all are way ahead of the other group. I think y'all were in my app files class too, weren't y'all? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to teach that tomorrow, I believe. I think that's right. Oh, and that one even I have to teach fairly quickly as well. Let's see. Yeah, app files 11:45. I have to teach it in 45 minutes. Normally takes me an hour and a half.
Talk fast.
Oh my God, Agent Accelerate is literally just that. It is so fast.
Yeah. It is really interesting though. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, our company has so much. I mean, honestly, it does. And I've been here 10 years, and in the past 5 years, what we've brought to the agents, it's just mind-blowing, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, and I try not to be rude to other people at agents at other company. I'm like, y'all don't have that?
Oh my
We
God.
have that.
I've actually had my license for 2.5 years,
Mm.
but I was doing it part-time because I work for Scholastic Book Fairs full-time. Pandemic wrecked them. So
Hey, I'm still buying.
Well, good, good, good. I'm still technically on furlough with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very weird, a whole nother story. But at any rate, so now I'm doing my real estate full time and I love it so much. But before I was with some other brokerages, and the one that I just came from, they had gotten the CRM. They hadn't even had a CRM before that. And they're really big. But they had gotten this new CRM that was ready to, I think a lot of agents felt the way I did, which was it is so much easier just to make a noose and hang yourself from the ceiling fan. Oh my gosh. It was just, oh, it was awful.
Well, you know, Francie, a lot of people think that this program's hard. And the truth is, things aren't hard when you try them and you practice. I mean, you get better and better. I mean, I'm teaching myself how to fly fish. I mean, that is a tough, and I'm tying my own flies. The more you do it, the better you get. And that's
Yeah.
the same with the CRM. Like, if you come in here and you schedule out your holiday cards for a whole year, you're
Mhm.
going to win because you've learned it, but you're also going to win because they're going out each month because we have a holiday on almost every month.
Right, right.
Stack
And
that with the newsletter, you got 2 emails going out a month.
now, how late in the month? Because I haven't done this because until today I didn't understand how to do it.
Sure.
Now I'm so excited, I'm ready to dance on here, but I won't. How late in the month is it too late to send out that newsletter?
Okay, that's a good question. So the design of the newsletter has a calendar at the bottom. Okay. You know what? Since how many people do we have on this right now? 2, we got about 5 right now left. Let me show you how to handle that. Okay. So like we just did, we did a marketing and email content.
Mhm.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a clone of the newsletter, but I'm going to make my very own. Okay. So I'm going to change the category here to newsletter. And see, there it is right there, the February newsletter. It's the first thing that comes up.
Mhm.
So if you missed it for this month, that's not a bad thing. What you'll do is you'll make what we talked about, a clone. I'm making a copy of it.
Okay.
It's either this button right here, or if you want to see the window view, there's a clone button. Either way. Okay. So I'm going to make a copy for use. Okay. And here's the design. It's nothing crazy, nothing, because you're not making a ton of changes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this part right here to say Drew with a line. And then knowing that there's a calendar at the bottom, I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the design and make sure that there's no conflicting dates. If there is, worst case scenario, I am going to just highlight this stuff and delete it.
Okay.
Just delete as much as you can. I'm going to see what else can I take out. There's an extra space here. I mean, nobody else will notice but you, but there. Okay. So I've removed the calendar, so there's no conflict. All I did was highlight and delete. The way that this works, these are just lines. See, that's just a paragraph line. It says P. If I hit delete, it's gone. Okay. And you can always go backwards. There is a back button that right here. Let's see where it says back, or does it say back? Undo.
Uh-huh.
Or Control Z will go back. But all I did was I deleted it. And so now there's no conflicting dates. I can scroll to the top, and now I can save this as a new template for me to use.
So technically, optimally, it would go out the first of the month, correct?
You want it to go within the first week of the month because of the event calendar at the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay.
But since say you've missed this month, right now you're fine. You could do this exact motion I did where I cloned it, scroll to the bottom, delete the calendar, schedule it to go out.
Okay.
But I like questions like that. That's a scenario right there. Really it is, you know? Yeah. And of course, Harry Norman's releasing all these market reports, you know, using the one for your area is exciting to send to your contacts. Just take advantage of the system. It's strong.